All right, what up, y'all, my people? This is Chris Smitty, and I am here with the legendary, in his own right, Trey. He is a sickle cell carrier, and he is someone who takes his health seriously and certainly makes the most of it. Me and this guy have been following each other for a couple years now, and I've been inspired by him, and I want to share with y'all some of the ways that he does it, a little bit about who he is first. So Trey, go ahead and introduce yourself, my man.
Trey Felton, from Louisiana, moved to Texas. I was stuck in Texas since I was 7 years old. We've been back and forth, but officially now I'm in Texas, obviously. Nice. Have sickle cell, have the disease as well, and it's a struggle. Yeah, I think you already know it's a struggle, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, and so this annoying ass question I gotta ask you: how long have you had sickle cell?
My entire life.
Your entire life. I love when I go to the ER and they ask me that question. It's like, well, tell me how much you don't know about sickle cell off the bat. Having it your whole life, have there been any phases that you've gone through? Meaning you might go through a phase where it's really, really defeating you, and then you might have changed, or have you always been this persistent?
Personally, me, I think the first 17 years of my life was like the real struggle phase. And I think what kind of got me out of that phase, what kind of inspired me out of that phase, because I really like sports, but I think martial arts was the one sport that I was like, oh, this is it. I really want to do it. I had a crush on a girl, right? And she got me, and she introduced me to Taekwondo. And funny story, she had sickle cell as well.
Oh, wow.
And we're gonna go back to this story a little bit. You're gonna be. I think people already know this fact, but you're gonna be interested.
Yeah, go for it.
She introduced me to Taekwondo, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And when I saw her kicking and punching the way she was, I was like, oh, if she can do it, so can I. And it was a struggle, because I'll get pain crisis, I'll get cramps. But I just kept going, I just kept doing it, and then I started loving martial arts more than her. And so, yeah, but one thing that blew me away about her is that she actually wasn't black. She was actually Filipino.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, apparently, other races have sickle cell as well. There's white people have sickle cell. Right. You'd be surprised. Some Chinese people have sickle cell. Right. It's I met some Hispanics have sickle cell. They tell me the same thing. Like, it's a struggle.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good stuff. Just getting an idea of your transitional journey. That's interesting. You say that the girl you had a crush on. So did you find out that she had sickle cell off the bat? Was that part of the reason y'all met, or how did you learn that about her?
We went to Lone Star together. For a while, we were just in the same group of friends. We weren't really talking to each other, but then we started talking to each other slowly but surely. I started talking. I don't think she told anyone else, because I told her, oh, I have sickle cell. That's why I don't really do sports too much. She was like, oh, I have sickle cell too. And I was like, oh. And that's how we started talking.
Nice.
Yeah, she was a really cool person.
Yeah. It sounds like, if I can interject for just a second, it sounds like that was something that kind of connected y'all, as opposed to what sometimes we experience. People can be a little either repulsed by it, is a more extreme, but also just not knowing what it really means. And so I'm sure it was refreshing to meet someone who knew exactly what you meant when you said it.
Yeah, I did.
Nice. Do y'all still keep in touch?
No. At the time, I was also struggling with my mental. I wouldn't say mental health, more of my just the way I do things was just messy. And also, she was in a bad state, or she was in a bad mental state as well.
Yeah.
So I met her family. They were pretty cool. One thing I've been telling people as well, I also have a heart disease as well. Or not heart disease, heart condition. one of my valves don't work correctly, they put a device in there to not like a pacemaker. It's like a little non-electronic little rubbery device that helps the valves open up and let blood flow through. So cardio is not my best friend. I try cardio every day. I get on the go for 40 minutes. I get on the treadmill for 15 minutes. When I work out, basically all I do is cardio because my cardio, I'm in combat sports as well. So cardio is like the main thing to work on. Muay Thai, it's a different form of kickboxing. And if you have sickle cell, Muay Thai is not your best friend because when I started Muay Thai, I was still playing basketball. And I was doing both. And when I tell you I had a pain crisis, bro, I literally could not walk. I was stuck in my bed for like 4 days straight. In Muay Thai, apparently it is according to some other, Muay Thai is like the elite. It's like the sport for elite kickboxers. Ain't nothing casual.
Yeah.
Anyone who does Muay Thai, you have my respect. This sport is brutal. You swim or you drown. Like there's no middle ground.
Yeah, you should learn how to keep swimming. That's heavy, man. And one of the things that I know, my dad was a boxer coming up, and so we kept, boxing gloves in our toy boxes. What encouraged you to keep going down that path of Muay Thai versus any other kind of sport?
I just love the challenge. This guy. Like, here's one thing I learned about Muay Thai. If they know you have like some type of medical weakness, they'll take advantage of it. I have a heart condition. One dude need me in the heart. One dude need me in the diaphragm.
Yeah.
One dude, some people know I have sickle cell, so they'll like aim for my joints and they'll aim for my thighs to make a cramp go.
Right.
And honestly, you just mentally, you have to be the toughest one in the room mentally. Like, there is no, your weakness has come your strength. Because now, one thing I learned how to do when it comes to practicing, I don't have the best stamina, but now I learn how to practice for long periods of time so I can build strength and cardio. I can practice like 4 hours a day straight. They can only do maybe a good 2 hours and they're done. I learned how to like pace myself. And one thing that keeps me going, like some cool thing Bruce Lee said, in order to express yourself, you have to learn how to move a certain way. And martial arts to me is like the best way for me to express myself while moving.
I think that's why most people gravitate towards one sport versus another. Being able to find something where you can express yourself the way you want to, I think is huge. Let me ask you this, number one, pertaining to sickle cell, what is your blood type or genotype?
SC, the one that's not so
Right.
so harsh.
The one that's not SS. Yeah, I don't have SS either. I have SC like you, so I can understand how you've been able to sustain a certain level of activity. And I think a part of that too is conditioning, because I know some other people who have type SC and it's hard for them to get some momentum going. It's hard for them to develop and improve their cardio or stamina or even muscular strength. And so I think our genotype allows for the probability of us improving our health in so many ways where you can compete in your arena. And so second question I got for you, how long has it been since your most recent crisis or episode?
Last week.
Okay, we'll get back to that, but that's good to know. And then also, why did you decide to be health conscious? Was it just sports, or was it because you knew your body needed to be strong with sickle cell?
Mainly because I was depressed for a while. Yeah, and I didn't know I was depressed. It was more like one of those depressions where you just didn't know. Because throughout high school, I was social, but not really social. I didn't go to events and like that. And I thought I was okay. Really, I was just depressed. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really know how bad it was. So I started working at Lowe's, and like, that place drains you, and I was drinking every day. And I was causing more harm myself physically
Right.
and mentally. So I was like, let me figure out what's wrong. And then that's when I started doing more athletic stuff. Because now I used to weigh 250, almost 300. Now I got my weight down to like 220.
That's definitely an improvement.
The last time I weighed myself, I weighed 200 pounds.
Yeah, I saw you posted it yesterday, and I was like, because we had just started, we were DMing each other and messaging each other, and then I looked at your stories after we were messaging each other. You had told me, and you had already posted it, and so that's huge. And so let me ask you this: as far as those goals go, how do they compare to some of your sickle cell goals, such as maybe limiting or reducing those crises?
Losing weight helps. For everyone who has sickle cell, losing weight helps, and trust me, it does. It takes your blood pressure goes down. You have less cramps if you eat certain foods. Oh, if you cut out certain foods. Right. I've cut out all seafoods. I cut out bacon. I cut out most meats. There's certain chips, brands I don't even eat anymore. If you just cut certain things from your diet as a sickle cell person, you're gonna feel less crappy sickle cell wise.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I completely agree.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Just cut out sodas if you can. The only meats I really eat is beef, chicken, turkey, and salmon or fish. And I eat fish as well. Other than that, those are the only meats I eat. And don't eat junk food so much.
Yeah, and that's hard. And I think I appreciate you saying that if you can cut those things out, because for a lot of people it's a struggle. And what I've told people is you just kind of have to wean yourself off. Like maybe say for certain days throughout the week, you're not going to eat any of those things that you know you're not supposed to eat. And then other days throughout the week, maybe have it, but have a smaller portion of it so that you're not over consuming, because we are easily as a society here in the States over consuming way too much food. It's a huge issue, and it's right in front of our faces, and it affects even those of us with sickle cell disease even heavily, because we have a harder time losing weight, being active, which we know can help us, being active and understanding how your body needs to move. Let me ask you this question. What do you think is the main thing that helps you? Do you get rest? Do you eat better? Or is it your workout? Or what combination would you say? Because for me, if I can give you something to think on. So for me, as of the past couple of months, I've been focusing a lot more on my sleep. Sleep has been my number one thing. That's helped me wake up easier. Has helped me have more energy throughout the day, whether I eat a lot or I eat a less, if I work out, if I don't. Sleep has been my equalizer. So what about you?
As a 24-year-old, to be honest with you, bro, my life is not, I wouldn't say my life is nasty. I think that's over-exaggerating, but everything is so, in your 20s, everything's so spontaneous. Yeah. So one thing I try to do is I try to have moments where I can just sit down and relax and just chill for a second. Yeah. And then I'll just talk to some of my friends and just have a nice conversation. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna refill, and after that I'll just go alone in my room, relax. I'll write in my journal about my thoughts, stuff like that. And I'll play some video games, listen to music. And sleeping is also a big one for me. I don't necessarily get a lot of sleep, but those hours I am sleeping, like those, if I get 4 hours of sleep, it's gonna be the best 4 hours of my life. If I'm only getting 20 minutes sleep, it's gonna be the best 20 minutes of my life. Right. I don't care, I usually, sleeping for me consistently is kind of odd, but one thing I picked up on, when you are sleeping, I don't care if it's just 2 minutes or 2 hours or 2 days, those are the best minutes of your life. Those will be the best, that might be the best thing you ever get in your life.
Yep.
So yes, sleeping does help.
You heard it from Trey. Sleeping helps, y'all. Please get your rest. And I'm dying over here because I've had those days. I've been through my 20s where you want to stay up and live that young life, or you just stay up and everything's spontaneous, like you said. Then when you get older and you have kids, it doesn't stop. It just happens in different, more spontaneous ways. But getting sleep and prioritizing and saying, look, I'm either gonna get up early tomorrow morning to get started, or I'm gonna stay up a little late, but I'm gonna sleep in tomorrow morning because I can. Whatever works, get your sleep. And you know, you're right. That little bit of time, I even would tell clients to take naps, and different types of naps. The 20-minute power nap where you wake up, you're tired and you're mad at the world, but 10 minutes after you wake up from a 20-minute nap, you have more energy than even if you would have slept longer. And people don't realize that, but that's just the way nature works in our bodies. And so we just have to learn these little things that can help us go a much longer way. Who is your favorite superhero, and who's the most hated superhero?
Captain America's my favorite, most favorite superhero.
Who we're gonna hate on right now?
You call me on a good day because I am a comic book nerd. I wouldn't say necessarily hate this character, but I'll say it's a bit overrated, kind of annoying. Deadpool. The movie that came out is amazing. It's great. I think they did good work of character. Deadpool.
Yeah.
The movies, the first and second one are amazing.
Okay.
But in their comics, why is he such a trashy character? I don't know how they did it. They made a perfect character in the movies. In the comics, he's so cringy.
I don't read comics. I can only take your word for it. My actual favorite is Spawn. And I think I liked it because he literally went through hell and survived it and turned it into his, power. And I think that's similar to what we go through with sickle cell disease. I think we go through a version of hell and we survive it. And if we can turn it into a power, then by all means, let's go.
One thing my coach told me straight up, like, hey bro, I didn't think you were gonna make it that far. And I was like, yeah. I mean, because I had 2 open heart surgeries when I was a child, and I had a whole blood transfusion as well.
Yeah.
And I just had a rough growing up.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not your fault that you didn't think I was gonna make it that far, but these last months I was been through hell, and now I'm like, okay, cool. Now it's time to give hell right back to you people.
Right. I think that's a part of a mentality that, we get tired of not being capable within our own cells, within our own bodies. And we get more irritated when we come across so-called physicians and doctors and people who are supposed to help us, and we get in those arenas and we don't get the support we need. And so I think that begs the idea, at least to me, that we have to do everything we can. That's why I wanted to talk with you, man, because that's exactly what I saw in you and what I continue to see is someone who, even though Muay Thai is your thing and that's your realm, that's your space, and you've learned to, despite your condition, still get in that space and do amazing things. That comes from a mentality. Something was planted in your brain and in your heart at some point in time that gave you the courage to walk down that path, knowing all that you risk in order to do it. So talk to me a little bit about those risks and how you're still able to make the most.
Good question. The reason why some questions are hard for me to answer, because it's all mentality. Because one of my friends came up to me the other day. I went out to eat with him. He told me straight up, when he first met me when I was doing Taekwondo, he told me he didn't see me in the military. Because at one point I wanted to join the military. Yeah. But he didn't see me in the military. But then 2 weeks ago I went out with him. Hey bro, all these last months, you could be in the Marines if you really wanted to. Because he said, due to your mentality changing and how you grind the way you do, he's like a highway police patrol. Yeah. He told me, I know you have sickle cell and all, but with your mentality, you can go very far. Yeah. And honestly, I don't even know. I believe in God. I believe in the Most High. I don't really go to church, but I read my Bible like it's religiously, and I'm constantly thinking about wisdom, philosophy, all that stuff, because that's what I'm in college for. I'm in college for business, and I'm a minor in psychology. But he told me, you just really got to I don't know, it's fun. To me personally, it's just fun to push forward and grind. I kind of, be honest with you, my coach isn't a bad dude. They're all cool people. Yeah. I kind of enjoy when people count me out.
Yeah, more power to you.
What you gotta do?
That's right. Is when you feel pain, what do you do to relieve it?
I stretch and take a painkiller sometimes. Depends on how much pain is. Honestly, pain's always throbbing. One thing I learned recently. When you're going through pain, sometimes it is literally just best to just stop what you're doing, go home, and just lay down, play your phone if you want to, watch some TV. Just let your body do what it's trying to do. Because one time, one of my coworkers, she knew I was in pain. She was like, hey, you want to eat something? I was like, nah, it's gonna just make it worse. And she's like, you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure. So then I left work thinking like, okay, maybe she's right, maybe I should just eat something. So I got home, ate something, and honestly, eating made it worse.
Wow.
Eating that's why I was interested in your fasting. And I was like, no, he's not wrong. Fasting is kind of a neat thing. Because sometimes if you eat while your body is trying to like do something, sometimes eating makes it worse, and it doesn't give your body time to actually like heal or rest. Because when you're eating, your body's like
Metabolizing.
digestion. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We have to understand that science, and it's not hard to learn, but once we start applying it, then we can live a life where we're a little more active than we are.
There's a way to it. And so I'm glad that you mentioned that. For me, I'm more of the same. I'll take some over-the-counter pain pills to combat it when I feel it immediately. And then depending on what, how severe it is, usually I see like an incline. So for me, let me start from here. It'll start and then it'll go up. And then when it starts doing that, that's when I'm like, all right, I need to get myself to an ER so that I can make sure it doesn't get all the way to the top and then I'm out for a week, fighting pain and infection and all this other shit. So it takes a lot to have a protocol and to know what works for you. And so I'm glad you mentioned that. And so, oh yeah, go ahead.
Some things I do, like even like let's say you found a method to help you leave you to the pain crisis. And let's say you're going through a nice week and like you're not necessarily having a pain crisis. Actually, let's say you're not feeling pain any at all. Still, even if you're not feeling pain, still take a week and treat your body as if it's having a pain crisis. It'll help. Don't take any painkillers on that, but like elevate your legs, stretch.
Yeah.
Drink tons and tons of water. I drink gallons of water like it's nothing because I sweat like crazy.
Yeah.
But actually, when I was in the gym, one of my jobs is to clean the mats because I sweat so much. Because sometimes you have an area just full of sweat, and they're like, "Oh, Trey was there."
Right.
And they're like, "Oh no, we know who was working on that. That was Trey. We don't have to see." And I'm like, "Yeah, you guys are right."
Yeah, your lungs are full of humidity and breathing all of that here. Texas is a sauna, for one.
Yeah.
And so certainly down here where it's flat, we're below sea level in Houston versus the hill country or going more, further up north, Austin, Dallas even. It's not the same. Nah, Houston is hell. It was the capital of Texas one point, and then they moved it to Austin. It's like, this Houston shit is not it. This geography is terrible. I want to wrap it up, Trey. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing this with Sickle Cell and myself, Chris Smitty of Athletics. And I just want to see everyone healthy. I'm glad you're doing things to be healthy, man. What's a little piece of encouragement you want to leave for fellow sickle cell carriers and warriors out here?
Hey, keep on fighting. Pick up that hammer because you're the only one who can lift it. Most High gave it to you, probably because you're the only one who can lift that weight. So I need you to lift it, keep it moving. Your motivators and your friends' families all should be your motivators. Anything should be encouragement. Anything should give you inspiration. Sometimes you shine bright when you are alone. Some of the best stars we can notice in the galaxy are the ones that are all by themselves.
That's a word. Yes.
Yeah.
Ashe.
And exactly.
Yeah, I love that. That's tremendous and absolutely right. Everyone has a hammer and we have the opportunity to use it. And we have to learn how to pick it up and use it. So, I conclude this conversation with my brother Trey. Trey, where can they find you?
Instagram as Trey Felton. Trey Felton with 3 I's behind it, 3 lowercase I's. It's supposed to stand for the third. Or you can find me at Trey_Felton. And on Twitter, I am Trey Felton 2. Yeah, Trey Felton with the number 2 behind it.
Yeah, man, I appreciate your time, Trey. And we will probably have more of these conversations, hopefully sooner than later, because there's a lot that me and you can break down. And you know, you're an intelligent guy, and I love your approach and your thought process to things. And so, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, Trey. We'll keep in touch, my brother. All right, this is Chris Smitty signing off. I appreciate all of you tuning in. Hope you stick around for more great conversations. I hope there was something you could take away from this conversation between Trey and me. And if you guys have any questions or anything you want to add, please leave it in the comments below. Please follow, subscribe, and do the best you can for your health. This is Sickle Cell.